So we are going to do rational exponents, but if you want to understand rational exponents, first you've got to understand what an exponent is. Right? So again, what is the key word of rational? Ratio. So we are going to talk about fractional exponents, but before we do that, there are some properties that we must know. So if I have x raised m over x raised n, that x is called the coefficient. Okay, that's called the base.
Okay.
It's all about the base. So no one got that.
No, we got it.
Okay. So the bases are common. So we have to combine the exponents. The way we do it is if we're dividing, it's x raised m minus n. If they are in division. But the key here is we must have a common base, which is x in this case. If I have a common base and I am multiplying two terms together, I will end up having x raised m plus n. If I have x raised negative n, it is the same as saying 1 over x raised n. Likewise, the same thing, just an extension. 1 over x raised negative n is the same as x raised n. They are one and the same, I'm just cross multiplying. What is x raised 0? Zero.
That's x.
X is any number. What is x raised 0? 1. You raise any number to the power of 0, you get 1. If you have x raised n, raise it to the power n. The base is just x. You just multiply those two, m times n. Yes. Now, what if we had different bases? Suppose you have x raised m times y raised m. Are the bases the same? One is x, the other is y. However, the exponents or the powers, they are the same. Yes? So what I can do is simply combine them together and write it as xy raised n. So if you have two different bases but identical powers, you can simply combine the bases and raise it to that common power that you have. Now that I've written now that we have that particular property, what would x raised m divided by y raised m equal to? Take a guess. X over y, different bases, identical powers. So x over y raise m. I just combine the x and y and raise it to that common power. So what is my first problem? So 2 times a times b raised 1 divided by c squared. So when we have something like this, we can apply that power to each of the terms that you see inside the parentheses. Just like property number 7, I have a common power, so I applied m to x, x raised m to y, y raised m. So what I'm going to do, raise 2 to the power of 2. I strongly recommend using parentheses when you deal with exponents. You will not make mistakes that way. Raise a to the power of 2. Raise b raised -1 to the power of 2 divided by c to the power of 2. With me so far. What is 2 squared? Or 4. A squared is just a squared. B raised 1. And I'm raising that entire exponent to the power of 2. So we just have to multiply those two powers, -1 and 2. Similar to property number 5. So b raised -1 times 2, b raised -2 over c squared. Do you see a negative exponent?
Yeah.
So what should we do to convert that negative exponent to a positive exponent? Move it to the denominator. So over here, if I had a negative in the denominator, I move it to the numerator, it becomes positive. Yes? Likewise, if I have a negative exponent in the numerator, I move it to the denominator, it becomes positive. So I'm not going to worry about full a squared or c squared, but I have b raised -2. Move it to the denominator, we have full a squared over c squared times b squared. Good. It's full of positivity. Are we clear?